Hey guys, it's Lauren Cisnelli, the sports dietitian. Today we are talking about fueling before practice. So one of the most common questions I get asked by athletes is, what should I be eating before practice? This is really a great opportunity to fuel our bodies and get the most out of practice. So if we can energize and fuel up our body before practice, we're going to be able to put more effort into practice, we're going to get more out of it, and that's going to translate into competition as well. So when we think about what to eat before practice, it's really going to depend on how long we have to digest that food and what time of day it is. So if you have practice right after school, we're actually going to start to think about how are we fueling your body at lunchtime. So lunch is our last main meal or full meal before we get to practice after school. So we have to make sure that lunch is supportive of performance. What I mean by that is at lunchtime, we are going to build a performance plate. So if you've seen any of my other videos, you have a little bit of an idea of what that performance plate is going to look like. If you haven't seen any of those videos, what that performance plate is, it's going to have 3 components. And on a practice day, what that's going to look like is half of our food at that meal is going to be coming from carbohydrates, about a quarter from protein, and about a quarter from fruits or vegetables. So at lunch, if you're at school, this might look like a sandwich with some pretzels and an apple on the side. Maybe it's some pasta with meatballs and a roll along with a little bit of salad, but really making sure that we're getting a lot of those carbohydrates at this meal. Carbohydrates are our main energy. That's our main fuel source. So this is going to be one of the focus points of what we're doing before practice to really fuel up. So making sure at lunchtime we have those carbohydrates, that's going to be really the foundation before we get to practice in the afternoon. So again, if you have practice really quickly and a little bit after school ends, we're going to think about quick, easy to digest foods that are going to support that performance. So we have lunch already taken care of. After school, if you have 30, 60 minutes, we're going to think of a carbohydrate snack that's going to digest quickly and get into your system. So maybe that's a Cliff Bar, maybe it's a half or a full sandwich if you're pretty hungry by this time of day. But really making sure that we are fueling up and getting those carbohydrates in is going to be key. If you have even less time, so let's say you have 15 or even 30 minutes to eat something, we want to think about even smaller, simpler to digest. So maybe this is a Chewy or another type of granola bar. Maybe it's a Chewy bar with applesauce or some Powerade to just get a little extra boost of those carbohydrates before you go into practice. But again, our focus point is going to be easy, quick to digest carbohydrates when we're thinking about a short time frame, less than an hour before practice starts. If you have practice a little later in the day, maybe you have practice a few hours after school ends, we can have a little bit more to eat after school. And I actually want you to have a little bit more to eat because this is going to really fuel up and get your body ready to go to practice. So a lot of times if athletes have practice a couple hours after school is out, they opt to have a small dinner before practice and then another small dinner afterwards. We'll talk more about the afterwards in another video, but when we think about that small dinner beforehand, again, we're thinking about carbohydrate-based foods. So maybe that's pasta. Maybe there's a little bit of meat sauce on there, not going crazy with those high protein or high fat foods. Maybe it is a sandwich. Maybe it's some rice or chicken, but making sure that we have those good carbohydrates going into that. Again, how we're fueling, how much we're eating, it's really going to depend on how long we have before practice starts. So if you have just a short period of time, we're thinking quick, easy to digest foods, something like a granola bar, piece of fruit, or Powerade or Gatorade. If you have a little bit longer, we have a little bit more flexibility and we can have a little bit larger of a meal or a snack. So maybe that's a Cliff Bar or a sandwich or something along those lines to really just get your body ready and fueled up to go to practice.